Alright, so now we will begin our second COP for defense.
So I'll go first. So what I conducted just now was basketball. So basically, I was focusing on defense. I was trying to get the participants to learn how to deny attacking space. So try to intercept the ball. So my session focus was trying to intercept the ball. So I basically got the attacker to run into the box on the basketball court. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the actual basketball court. But if we were to use the basketball court, so basically it's that box under the basketball hoop. I'll get the attacker to run into that box, and then while the defender being able to only stay inside the box, try to intercept the ball while I'm on the outside, passing the ball into the box to the attacker. So yeah, basically the defender had to try to intercept the ball, try to deny space, cover space, and yeah. So I want to go first.
I go first. Actually, I can't find something to pinpoint on improvement side, but what I can say is I like the cones provided that they were not 2 or 3 but about 4 or 5, so the attacker has more freedom to choose where to attack from, whilst the defender has to be more alert where the attacker is approaching from. Yes, that's from me.
And then okay, maybe because we did the activity in a badminton court, right, and then we didn't have the basketball net, so maybe that caused some how to say a bit of a slightly kind of a weird drill, because we didn't have an end goal. But even without that net, Sherman was able to adapt lah, and then he was able to just change the concept slightly so that we can still perform the drill. So I believe that was good lah. And then another thing is like as what Sufyan said, because there is multiple cones, so from where the attackers can attack, and then we have to intercept instead of blocking the path of the attacker. So we have to be consciously aware of where the attacker is and where the ball is, because our intention is to intercept. Yeah, so I think the drill is actually alright lah, in my opinion. Kai, as you from an outside point of view.
Yeah. So I was spectating the whole game, and given the resources that he had available, I think Sherman did well in planning this game itself. One thing that I can commend him on is the realism towards the actual game itself, as I think it's quite applicable to actual basketball game. So that's good. He didn't set too much conditions, which is good for this particular game, because I feel that it doesn't set a boundary towards how the defender should defend. And I think the way that he brought up his game, the natural game sense of a player would be to intercept rather than man mark. So overall the flow was great. A recommendation that I would give to him, given that he has if he has more participants, is to of course include more participants, so that by putting the defender in a more disadvantageous position, it can further build up his competency to defend.
For me, an idea that or recommendation that I would have is that probably give a clearer, how to say, direction for the attackers lah.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they can go from different codes, but like let's say I were to start from the left cone, but then there isn't any main direction that they can go. So like there is almost like there's no point to the cones, and they can just start in the box, the zone, So if there is some conditions that the attacker has as well, which implements the cone directions or whatsoever, or maybe like direction of attack and all that stuff, then pathway or something, then that would be, I think, better lah.
Yeah, it came down to my introduction lah. I didn't give that condition. Yeah, forgot to say.
You?
Yeah,
All good, yeah.
yeah.
Alright, so now we're moving on to the second. Yeah, so for the second activity was me. I was a coach. So we did captain's ball. My activity for the defensive game was committing to a space as a defender. So when because in real life, in real game situations, having second thoughts and doubts in your decisions can actually make or break a situation lah. So the game that I have designed is to have a straight line, a single line with 4 cones. So there is a middle space where the defenders can roam, so that this space they can choose to either go left or right. And then, but when they enter past that cone, they have to commit all the way to the passers that are standing at the end of the pitch. So the passers will just have to pass to each other. They weren't given any limitations to how they can pass. And the defenders has only one limitation, which is just to commit when they have crossed the cone. Yeah, so it's something similar to monkey in the middle lah, but it's upgraded in that sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think before we start to further analyze his game, I think it is important to acknowledge that given the premise of wanting to introduce a defense game, having only 2 participants or a limited pool of participants is going to be quite difficult. So given that, I commend him for coming up with that game itself. Now moving onto the game. As a participant myself, I feel that the gameplay seems a bit too linear at times, because it's just moving back and forth. We also have to take into consideration the number of people that are present, so it's not really his fault, and I think he did the best with what he had with it. However, one thing that I feel that he could have made clearer, or try to organize the game clearer, is so that his tactical focus or the tactical skill that he wants us to focus on for today would be more clearer for us. Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay. Yeah. Given the limited amount of people, I think the game was not bad. Like like he was still able to execute the game lah. So yeah, good job. And maybe instead of lobbing, right, maybe also can like only allow chess or bounce pass, but then you allow everybody to move left or right. Yeah, so like what Kai said just now, sometimes it felt too linear lah. So if that is added, then it will have more variation. Yeah.
Building on what both of them said, the idea of the playing being too linear, I agree with that. We can inject more creativity and fun into the attacker's perspective by maybe placing 2 cones at their left and right to make it into a triangle play, where the attackers can move left and right to make the pass, whilst the defender has also more space to commit and defend. So yeah, that's it basically.
So basically, it's just to make the game much more 3-dimensional lah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Alright, I think that's all for our COP. Thank you for today.